Today I wanted, hey, today I wanted to share a little bit about my first PET scan. So as I mentioned in my previous video, I had found out that I had breast cancer, lymph node and breast biopsy came back positive. So we heard of the C word. I went and met with a surgical oncologist and a medical oncologist, and we discussed options. We discussed a lumpectomy, mastectomy, what treatment would be done, if radiation was an option, what chemo we would do. We talked about those things, and they said that they wanted me to get a PET scan, which would tell if the cancer had spread anywhere else. So I was nervous. I had never had a PET scan before, no reason to have had a PET scan before. And so I was really nervous. I had a lot of people praying about that day and about those results. I had some friends who sent me the link to the music video on YouTube for Jesus Draw Me Ever Closer. And part of that song says, uh, may this journey bring a blessing. And that really stuck out to me in that song. I listened to that song the entire way to the PET scan. Um, at the hospital where I go, PET scans are done very early in the morning. So I think my PET scan was at like 6:15 or something like that. So I was driving to the hospital about 5:30 and just listened to this song on repeat the entire way there. And that was my prayer. Whatever these results come out to be, may this journey bring a blessing, whether it's a blessing to me, whether it's a blessing to others. That was my prayer, was Lord, may this journey bring a blessing. So I got to the hospital, and this is where I met Brian. Brian is my PET scan tech guy. He's done all of my PET scans so far. Super awesome guy. Had been doing it for a while, and I got in. They give you some dye medicine through an IV. You let that sit for close to an hour to run through your body so that when you go into the PET scan machine, it will pick up everything. So sat there for an hour, then went into the PET scan machine. It's very similar to an MRI or something like that. It's a long tube that they slide you in. I was a little bit nervous being in an enclosed space. That made me nervous, but it wasn't bad. Every 3 to 4 minutes, the bed that you're on inside this tube, inside the machine, shifts you out of the machine a little bit. So after about 9 minutes, your head is out of the machine, which made me feel much less claustrophobic. I just keep my eyes closed the entire time so I can't see how close anything is. But it was good. I got done. Brian said, your doctor will be calling you soon with the results. Hope you have a great day. And, and that was it. And I left. And I felt good. It wasn't a bad experience. And then this was a Thursday morning. Later that night, probably around 4:30 or so, my husband and I were in the bedroom just kind of talking about the day. The girls had just gotten home from school, and I got a phone call from my doctor, and she asked if I had a minute, and I said yes. And she asked if my husband was there, and I said yes. So went ahead and I closed our bedroom door, and uh, she told me, she said, Jessica, I got the results of your PET scan already, and unfortunately, the cancer has spread. It's in your lungs, your liver, and your bones. Um, she said, unfortunately, um, things are a little worse than we had hoped. Um, we will still have a plan. Um, she said I may try to. This is a Thursday. I had my port placement set for the following Tuesday and my chemo for the following Thursday. So things were still moving very quickly. She said she was going to try to see if any of that could get moved forward a little bit, and normally she would call you in for these types of results. She doesn't like giving those kinds of things over the phone. Um, but she said she wanted to have Friday um, to work on getting a new plan together and going forward. She didn't want to wait until Friday to talk to me and then have to wait the weekend and start all of that. So she wanted to get working on things right away, which I appreciated. So I hung up the phone, and we laid there and just cried. Um, both of us just cried. So if a cancer has spread outside of its originated location, so in my case it was breast cancer um, that had spread. Um, it has metastasized. Um, so and once it metastasizes, um, that's stage 4. Um, Stage 4, unfortunately, is terminal. And statistics, if you look on the internet, say that the average life expectancy is 18 to 36 months, which is scary and sucks. Just honesty. So we sat and cried. Um, I was in pain. Um, my back had been hurting for a while. Um, uh, and come to find out, there were spots, tumors growing in my spine. So that was causing my back troubles. I was having a sharp pain. I don't know if you can see, like right here. And that was my liver. Um, oh, goodness. So we had time. So I mean, like I said, we laid there and cried for a while. Uh, I called some people, told them the results of my PET scan, um, and we didn't tell our girls. Um, I didn't know how to without crying. Um, I wanted to wait until we got a little bit more information um, before I told them anything. So I just prayed about it. I prayed that I would have guidance. I would pray that just the Lord would help me to use the right words to explain to them. Uh, we knew that night, Thursday night, was not the time to tell them. I didn't want them going to bed with that on their minds. Didn't want to tell them Friday morning and then send them to school. Then didn't want to tell them Friday night because Same thing. We didn't want them to go to bed knowing that. So I was just really nervous. Friday night, about 7 o'clock, I get a phone call, and it's from my oncologist. 7 o'clock on a Friday night. She called me and to check in and see how I was doing. I had had a day to process. She explained to me a couple different things. She told me that my biopsy results came back as triple positive. And I was like, oh crap, of course. Not only do I have, stage 4 breast cancer, but it's triple positive. And she said, no, 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 no. She explained that being triple positive, there are 3 things that they test for when they do these tests. And I came back positive in 3 areas: estrogen positive, progesterone positive or hormone positive, and HER2 positive, which is a protein. And what that means is all 3 of those things are what is feeding my cancer. She said it's good to be triple positive because now we know what's feeding the cancer, and there are medicines to block that, to block those things feeding the cancer. Whereas if I were triple negative, they would not know what is feeding the cancer, and they would just kind of have to try different medicines and hope for the best. So that was good to hear, and that made me feel better. The way that so we talked for a little bit. I had some time to think and ask questions, and I told her, I said, I don't want to know a prognosis. I don't want you to tell me how long you think I have. I would not be able to handle that right now. And she said, okay. She goes, I respect that. She said, but we are not looking at end of life right now. And that was a sigh of relief. I didn't know, knowing that the life expectancy, the average is 18 to 36 months. That means people don't make it a year and a half. And with how I was feeling and knowing that it had already spread to all of these places, I was nervous. I was really nervous. So hearing her say that we weren't looking at end of life right now gave me a little bit of a sigh of relief, a little bit of hope that, okay, all right, let's just see what happens. The plan going forward was to keep my port placement for that following Tuesday, September 2nd, and they were also going to do a liver biopsy. They just wanted to confirm that the cancer that had spread was, in fact, breast cancer that had spread to those places. And then I would start my first round of chemo on September 4th, which was that Thursday. So that was the plan. I got that information Friday night, and again, I had a little glimmer of hope and a little bit of peace about it. So I knew and felt more comfortable talking to my girls about it. We had friends coming over Saturday morning to help paint our bedroom and just do some stuff around the house to help. So I knew that Saturday morning would be the perfect opportunity for me to tell the girls. I could tell them And then they would have friends coming over that they could play with and hang out with, and it would distract them from those thoughts. And then hopefully by bedtime that night, we'd be good to go. So sat down with them that morning, and because I waited, because I prayed about it, and the doctor had called that Friday night, I was able to tell them that uh, my cancer had spread to a couple other places. We did not tell them where. I told them that it was called triple positive, and I said that means they know what's feeding the cancer, and they have medicines that will block the cancer from or block the my cancer cells from being fed, and that was kind of it. We never used the term stage 4. We never used the term metastatic breast cancer because they didn't know what that was. Um, Again, we didn't tell them where it spread because I didn't want them thinking it's in her lungs, she's not going to be able to breathe. It's in her bones, she's not going to be able to. I didn't want them thinking those things. So we just told them that it had spread, but it was the same kind of cancer. It was just the breast cancer that had spread, and that the medicine was going to be the same to kill all of that cancer, and that I was triple positive, and that meant that there were specific medicines to help with that. And they were like, and that I was able to get through it without crying, without um, worrying or being upset about it, because of that hope. That little bit of hope that I was given um, helped me to be able to tell them and explain to them what was happening. Uh, and that was that. That was my first PET scan, and that was our first introduction to MBC, metastatic breast cancer, stage 4. And then things got interesting. I don't want my videos to be too terribly long, so I'll break them up into pieces. But this was it. This was the beginning of my metastatic breast cancer journey. I hope you'll consider subscribing so that you can hear or get notifications when I share more of my story with you. Thanks for watching.